Sports has always been considered a man's world, a setting where adrenaline and testosterone run wild, where pain is ignored by the warriors in the field of battle. Carol Stable, a professor of women's studies at the University of Oregon, says there are only two areas that make masculinity: the military and sports. And that makes things difficult for women.
And what is it that confers on the male an advantage other than his gender? And that's illegal.
June 23rd of this year marks the 47th anniversary of Title IX, the federal civil rights law that was passed as a part of the Education Amendments of 1972. It's also the law that spawned the rise of women in athletics, academics, and in the workplace. 50 years ago, in 1969, 3 years earlier than Title IX was introduced, Jane Chastain became the very first female television sportscaster on either the local or national level.
Well, the merry Mexican Lee Trevino is merry tonight as he won the Colonial National Invitational in Fort Worth. This birdie putt at 16 vaulted Trevino to his first PGA victory ever in his home state of Texas and his first win in more than 14 months.
In 1969, Chastain went to work for WTVJ in Miami and found herself almost undaunted being the only woman in the newsroom at any station in Miami.
I always loved sports. I was told quite often, you can't do this, you can't do that. And to me, that was just part of the challenge. If someone told me I couldn't do something, I would just die trying.
Then came Jeannie Morris at WBBM-TV in Chicago. She was good in her own right, becoming the first woman to do a live shot during a Super Bowl broadcast. Even then, she still faced her own brand of discrimination, being a woman in a male-dominated business.
I had Ted Williams try to kick me out of his, "This is my dugout, get out of here, no women in my dugout." And I said, "This isn't your dugout, this dugout belongs to the Chicago White Sox," and they said, "I can be here, okay?" And he just goes, "Okay." So, okay. There you go, slugger.
Female sportscasters since Chastain struggle with sexism from coaches, athletes, and sometimes their own networks.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to tropical Bloomington, Minnesota. I don't believe it. Two Miss Americas on the field at the same time. Phyllis, you can take the day off?
Excuse us, Fred. Oh, you little devil, you. I'll get you back.
When women are discussed, what is it that is discussed about them? And it tends to be what they look like, as opposed to who they are and what they do.
Then there are the fans. Chicago sportscasters Julie DeCaro and Sarah Spain teamed up to do a Jimmy Kimmel-type mean tweet segment. But there was a twist. The tweets were ones that had been sent to them over the years, but they had men who didn't write them read them to their face.
You need to be hit in the head with a hockey puck and killed. That's it.
Several female sportscasters are victims of stalking and harassment. None more famous than Erin Andrews. The numbers are staggering, more than double the amount of online harassment, and almost 4 times as likely to be stalked.
We're here, we do our homework, we talk to the right people, we put the effort in, we do the due diligence, and there's a reason why we're hired. We know what we're doing, we belong.
None more so than Beth Mowins, who became the first female to be the lead play-by-play announcer on a regular season televised NFL game in 2017.
Big hole right up the middle for Melvin Gordon and a first down across the 25.
Mowins' historic moment helped inspire other networks to give women a chance in the booth. Lisa Byington became the first woman to be the lead play-by-play announcer on the Big Ten Network.
If there's a little girl watching on Saturday night and she thinks, hey, maybe I can be in the booth too, then that's progress. But maybe more importantly, and what I haven't really said, is that there's a little boy sitting and watching on Saturday night. And now that becomes the norm of watching a woman in the booth. That's why this is important.
Thank you. Got to tweet out the historic moment.
Women have come so far in the last 50 years, but there are still challenges. Ultimately, women plan to work harder to make things easier for the next generation.
You already see more women pursuing the play-by-play role and moving up through the ranks, and so hopefully it won't take as long after, now that I have had this opportunity.